Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 6, The Struggle for Immortal Realm. Chapter 61, 736 Crushing All Resistance. 61st of Volume 7. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. In the palm-shaped crater, Shenji finished his chi circulation and healing. He slammed his palm against the ground, launching himself upward as the mountain measuring ruler slashed down. Shenji knew that Li Wei had been wounded by Qi Jianru's sword and the arrows fired from afar while delivering the strike that injured him. He couldn't allow Li Wei any chance to recover, he had to wear him down through relentless combat. A piercing clang echoed through the night sky. Li Wei, your end has come. Qiyuan's voice boomed from the distant horizon. He had transformed into his true form, a scarlet crimson flame Luan bird over 100 meters long, its vibrant chi igniting the northern sky. 6 first sequence powerhouses, all with cultivation levels surpassing Qi Jianru's, along with Chong Yujian, finally caught up. Swish, swish, swish. Wenren Tinghai and the 2 demon race first sequence experts, riding on the crimson flame Luan bird's back, drew their demonic concealment crossbows and fired 3 arrows from dozens of miles away. The remaining 2 first sequence experts, Prince Tulu and the ghost marsh pung bird, flanked Li Wei from the left and right, circling ahead to cut off his escape routes. Atop a hill roughly 8 miles away, Yan Zhiro and Zhao Tang's fingers were bloodied from the recoil of their bowstrings after firing their arrows. They had shown mercy earlier. Yan Zhirio's arrow had been fired when Li Wei wasn't engaged with Shenji and Qi Jianru, merely to prevent him from retreating. Zhao Tang's arrow hadn't struck a vital point, it had only pierced his thigh. We must give it our all now, or Wenren Tinghai will see through our deception, Yan Zhiro said, drawing her bowstring taut once more. At the top of the hill, concentric ripples of energy emanated from the bowstring. She hadn't yet released the arrow. Thwong. A deafening bowstring twang reverberated across the battlefield first. A meteor-like arrow streaked across the night sky, leaving a luminous trail as it hurtled toward its target dozens of miles away. Thud. The crimson flame Luan bird, unable to shrink its massive form in time, had its head obliterated by the arrow. Its 100-meter-long body plummeted straight to the ground. Qiyuan was dead. On the Luan bird's back, Wenren Tinghai and the 2 demon race powerhouses were terrified out of their wits. They immediately activated their body techniques to accelerate their descent while simultaneously activating their blood-floating pagoda demon armor. Too fast. Even at this distance, Qiyuan couldn't evade it. There's no helping it. Qiyuan was flying at full speed to reach the battlefield sooner. In that state, his reaction time and evasive maneuvers were compromised. Wenren Tinghai glared at the distant battlefield, then glanced at Qiyuan's corpse, his eyes flashing with cold fury. That's a myriad inscriptions artifact level bow and arrow, undoubtedly enhanced with the power of a immortal golden core and spiritual crystals. Otherwise, its power wouldn't be so overwhelming. Everyone, be careful. Yan Zhiro and Zhao Tang exchanged glances, realizing for the first time that Li Wei had been holding back earlier. Otherwise, given the less than 10-mile distance between them, Li Wei could have easily ambushed and killed one of them. Li Wei had used the 10-star treasure bow borrowed from Zhongsheng Academy, activating its primordial awakening to kill Qiyuan with a single arrow. Wenren Tinghai's guess had been spot on, it was indeed a myriad inscriptions artifact, inlaid with 10 immortal golden cores and 10 spiritual crystals. Meng Kui hadn't been exaggerating, the bow and arrow were truly terrifyingly powerful. However, whether they could break through the blood-floating pagoda battle formation remained to be seen. To kill Qiyuan and delay Wenren Tinghai and his companions, Li Wei had paid a heavy price. Struck in the back by Shenji's mountain measuring ruler, he staggered forward, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Shenji's strike landed in the same spot where Qi Jianru's sword had struck earlier. Avoiding further entanglement with Shenji, Li Wei used Purple Heaven Thunder and the Golden Cloud Thunder Seal to force him back. He then sheathed the 10-star treasure bow, drew his sword, and summoned the Purple Heaven Thunder Seal and Golden Cloud Thunder Seal to hover above his head. Accompanied by the 5th Phoenix, he charged toward the Nether Realm of the Dead. The 7th Phoenix, meanwhile, remained cloaked in invisibility as it flew toward Yan Zhiro and Zhao Tang. If Wenren Tinghai and the others managed to encircle him, Li Wei would have no chance of escape today. At their cultivation levels, the tens of miles separating them would be covered in an instant. The 9-man shield formation stood before him, arrayed in a single line. The formation plate hovering above them spanned 30 meters in diameter, its 9 circular shield seals glowing like miniature suns, suspended over the area, silently awaiting Li Wei's suicidal charge. Qi Jianru, having regained his composure, led 9 immortal ascension beings wielding battle swords imbued with the same formation, flanking Li Wei from the right to intercept him. Behind the shield formation, 6 formidable figures clad in blood-floating pagoda demon armor emerged from the dark night, positioned to the left to prevent Li Wei from breaking through that flank. Shenji pursued Li Wei relentlessly from behind. Chang Yujian materialized behind Shenji, with the cloud spider and abyssal spider flanking him on either side. Further back, Wenren Tinghai and the 2 first sequence powerhouses of the demon race burned talismans on their chests, enveloped in fiery runes. Their speed surpassed even Chang Yujian and Shenji, closing the distance on Li Wei with terrifying speed. The starry sky mirror hung suspended 1,000 meters above the battlefield, providing a clear view of the entire situation. The movements of the immortal ascension beings, the pursuers, interceptors, close combatants, and ranged attackers, all laid bare. This scene was projected onto the starry sky mirror outside the Calamity Crossing Temple's mountain gate. Yaoyan stared intently, her fingernails digging into her palms as she held her breath. She knew that victory or defeat, even life or death, would be decided in the next few breaths. Beside her, she shouted, "This is so unfair. Dozens against one. How can he possibly win? It's a fight for survival with no way out. One man against an entire nation." Yaoyan's gaze remained resolute, though tears welled in her eyes. There was no other choice. If we had joined forces with the Holy Hall's life realm forces in the Wolf Sovereign Wilderness, the Demon Kingdom could have easily encircled and hunted us down. They wouldn't have needed to pursue us so urgently, so relentlessly, so desperately fearing Li Wei's escape. Moreover, the Divine Hidden One isn't just facing the Demon Kingdom's elite warriors. He also has to guard against sneak attacks from the Holy Hall's immortal ascension beings in critical moments and ambushes from the Holy Dynasty's experts. In the face of mortal danger and the lure of immense rewards, who can he truly trust? The only person he can fully rely on is Zhuao Hongting. A disciple of the Calamity Crossing Temple remarked, "The demon monarch's lifespan is dwindling. He'll stop at nothing to claim the life-preserving spring." Li Wei overestimated himself by challenging the demon monarch, and his defeat was inevitable. Still, to concede now and preserve his life would be a legendary feat in itself. Lu Kangsheng nodded in agreement. He's already proven his prowess in battle. Even if he surrenders, it won't diminish his reputation as the immortal ranking's top contender. He won't surrender. Yaoyan shifted her gaze from the starry sky mirror to the northern region. She knew Li Wei was drawing ever closer to the Calamity Crossing Temple. The 20-odd elite warriors, carefully selected by Zhongsheng Academy, arrived at a high vantage point 200 miles away. Below them stretched a vast, crimson corpse lake. Meng Kui turned to Qingshang beside him. "Do you think he can make it through? He has to. Otherwise, we can't intervene." Qingshang added, "It's fortunate Zhuao Hongting drew away a portion of their forces. Though the situation remains dire, look at him, his fighting spirit burns fiercely, showing no sign of surrender. If it were us, we would have given up long ago," meekly handing over the jade tome of the life-preserving spring. Li Wei drew closer to the shield formation, blood crimson at the corner of his mouth, his eyes like cold stars, his killing intent and battle spirit surging relentlessly. Tang Wanzhou, Mo Duanfeng, Zhuao Hongting, and Zhang Ning had each lent him their strength in their own ways, transforming what seemed like a hopeless struggle into a sliver of possibility. I must break through. Only by breaking through and escaping to the great ancient land of the Tao of Pills would he earn the right to participate in the 3-year Immortal Ascension competition. 100 zhong, 90 zhong, 80 zhong. 30 zhong remained. Whoosh! The radiance of the 9 shield seals blazed with blinding intensity. The spiritual chi of the 9 immortal ascension beings, channeled through the formation glyphs etched into their armor, coalesced into 9 rivers of energy that surged toward the shields. Before the shields, a massive circular shield seal, as radiant as the sun, materialized, unleashing shockwaves of concussive force. Li Wei stomped his foot, launching himself into the air. The surrounding void instantly turned pitch black, then erupted into a dazzling 4-colored world. The entire swamp fell silent. A glow flickered between Li Wei's brows as his spirit realm opened, illuminating all directions. When the spirit realm closed, pitch darkness enveloped him, impenetrable even to the light of the shield seals. Every eye on the battlefield turned toward him. In the darkness, they clearly saw 8 formation flags encircling Li Wei, their thick poles planted firmly in the ground, banners snapping in the wind. As darkness returned, they witnessed 4 pages of the earthly tome and the visions of wind, fire, thunder, and lightning enveloping Li Wei. As the third darkness descended, Li Wei's great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation clashed violently with the opposing shield seal battle formation. The azure nether lightning pierced through the massive circular shield seal, surging forward for miles. When the fourth darkness arrived, 9 shields flew outward, positioning themselves in 9 different directions. Li Wei had already charged into the ranks of the 9 immortal ascension beings. The force of his attack sent 5 of them flying. The remaining 4 were swept into the sky by the 5 fiends' heavenly wind. Utter devastation. The 9-man shield formation couldn't withstand Li Wei for even a breath's time. Qi Jianru's 10-man sword formation naturally had no time to reinforce the defense. It's the Bai clan's 8 formations banner. And 4 pages of the earthly tome. Li Wei has refined a mid-grade spiritual formation. We all overlooked his profound psychic power, assuming he only relied on insect control and psychic martial mystic combat. It's not just a mid-grade spiritual formation. It contains both Azure Nether Lightning and 5 Fiends Heavenly Wind. How can his psychic power be so formidable, capable of wielding such ferocious forces? Is this something a 4th realm holy spiritual master can achieve? Li Wei isn't an ordinary holy spiritual master. His cultivated 4-colored spiritual light allows him to challenge even 5th realm experts. Even a 5th realm holy spiritual master couldn't simultaneously control Azure Nether Lightning and 5 Fiends Heavenly Wind. With this formation, he can now confront a 6th realm great immortal being. The sudden appearance of the great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation threw the immortal ascension beings of the demon kingdom into chaos, catching them completely off guard. 200 miles away, Xingshang's beautiful eyes narrowed in astonishment as she murmured to herself, his mid-grade spiritual formation uses the 4 chapters of the earthly tome, wind, fire, thunder, and lightning, to bind and control both the Azure Nether Lightning and the 5 Fiends Heavenly Wind. What an extraordinary formation. If this formation had been deployed on the North Lake battlefield, Meng Kui remarked, Jiyu Junxiang would have suffered a crushing defeat. Given Li Wei's pride, Xingshang countered, he didn't even use this formation in his duel against Tai Sui Earth Monarch. Why would he waste it on Jiyu Junxiang? I agree that Jiyu Junxiang would have been utterly defeated on the North Lake battlefield. But in the boundless wilderness, the outcome is far from certain. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6. The Struggle for Immortal Realm. Chapter 62, 737 Close Combat Formation, Long-Range Bows and Arrows. 62nd of Volume 7. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Zhao Qi, immortal ascension being of the family of the Guanxi family, activated the protective talisman bestowed by his clan elders. Eliminated. Luo Zuwei, immortal ascension being of the Yuchuan life realm, concealed a transcendence-grade defensive formation within his armor. Eliminated. Huo Yu, immortal ascension being of the demon kingdom's Qi prefecture, conceded defeat. Eliminated. The great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation shattered the 9-man shield formation, instantly eliminating 3 immortal ascension beings. An elder expert from the enforcement group swiftly recorded the results. A middle-aged man from the enforcement group used a spatial escape technique to rescue Huo Yu, who had shouted, I concede. Huo Yu was severely injured, his body charred black by the Azure Nether Lightning, a wine-cup-sized bloody hole piercing his left chest. Had he not conceded, Li Wei would have crushed him to death with a single stomp. Huo Yu voluntarily surrendered his jade tome and all his spiritual artifacts. From that moment forward, the 3-year competition held no further significance for him. The eliminated Zhao Qi and Luo Zuwei were also required to surrender their jade tomes and spiritual artifacts, which now belonged to Li Wei. Carrying high-grade spiritual artifacts into the Immortal Ascension competition offered a clear advantage, enhanced combat prowess. However, this came at a price. First, elimination meant forfeiting the artifact. Second, it made one a target for everyone, including greedy teammates. As the saying goes, every gain comes with a loss. Zhao Qi and Luo Zuwei had carried defensive talismans and formations for self-preservation, which only resulted in their elimination. Had they instead deployed transcendent-grade attack formations or talismans, the consequences would have been far more severe. Not only would they have suffered dire consequences, but a thorough investigation would have been launched. Kai Yuan, of course, carried his own life-saving measures. But in the ever-shifting battlefield, whether he could deploy them in time remained uncertain. For immortal ascension beings carrying priceless spiritual artifacts, surrendering their treasures willingly before the final moment was unthinkable. Yet, when that final moment would arrive was beyond their control. The 4 chapters of the earthly tome and the 4,800 formation glyphs, densely packed, floated in the void, binding the Azure Nether Lightning and 5 Fiends Heavenly Wind. These forces were compelled to attack according to the formation's operation. The formation itself was controlled by the spiritual light erupting from Li Wei's brow. Currently, the Great Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning formation was a mid-grade spiritual formation with 4,800 formation glyphs. Li Wei needed to refine it to the 4th tier, increasing the formation glyph count to 6,400, to become virtually invincible below the 7th realm of the Immortal Realm. The extraordinary power of the 4,800 formation glyphs stemmed from the 5 Fiends Heavenly Wind he had purchased and the Azure Nether Lightning he had harvested from the 800-mile Thunder Sea, which had significantly amplified the formation's potency. Shen Ji, trailing behind, demonstrated his exceptional status as the ancient sect's foremost figure by swiftly regaining his composure amidst the chaos. He discerned the flaw hidden beneath the great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation's overwhelming power and telepathically shouted to the 6 distant figures clad in blood-floating pagoda demon armor, intercept him. Don't be intimidated. His mid-grade spiritual formation only has 4,800 formation glyphs. Break through the formation, tear apart the formation glyphs, and the azure nether lightning and 5 fiends heavenly wind will no longer obey his commands. Any 5th immortal realm martial mystic cultivator could pierce through a formation plate with 4,800 formation glyphs. Immortal ascension beings of the first sequence, such as Shenji and Wenrentinghai, could unleash such devastating power. Shenji channeled his full spiritual chi, his hands forming an 8-trigram seal. The mountain measuring ruler hovered at the center of the seal. With a thunderous roar, the 8-trigram seal launched the mountain measuring ruler toward a formation flag at the outer perimeter of the great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation. Shenji intended to shatter Li Wei's formation using the power of his myriad inscriptions artifact. Li Wei didn't turn back, continuing his rapid advance. Using his psychic power, he manipulated the thunder chapter of the earthly tome, summoning bolts of azure nether lightning that flew backward like a spiritual artifact, striking the incoming mountain measuring ruler and sending it hurtling back. Shenji caught the returning mountain measuring ruler, but the impact forced him to retreat several dozen feet. Seeing through the formation is easy, but breaking it is far more difficult, Shenji thought grimly. The 4 pages of the earthly tome aren't just the formation's foundation, they're also 4 spiritual artifacts. He realized that approaching the great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation alone would be nearly impossible, let alone breaking it. Whoosh! 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 3 crossbow bolts streaked past Shenji's head, aimed directly at Li Wei ahead. The 3 crossbow bolts were fired by Wenrentinghai and 2 first-sequence powerhouses of the demon race. Using talismans, they had already closed the distance to within 15 miles. The 3 demonic concealment crossbows in their hands, though not as powerful as Li Wei's 10-star treasure bow, were still forbidden weapons of the military, each inlaid with an immortal golden core and a spiritual crystal. Li Wei was currently fleeing with his back to the 3 of them, his reaction time inevitably compromised. Even if he were killed by the crossbow bolts, Shenji wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. Bang! Li Wei evaded 1 bolt and used the thunder chapter of the earthly tome to block the second. The 3rd bolt struck his left shoulder. At the point of impact, the crimson runes on the blood-floating pagoda demon armor flared violently, deflecting the bolt. The crossbow bolt carried immense piercing power, causing Li Wei to stumble, lose his balance, and nearly fall. As expected, Li Wei's movement and evasion speed are severely hampered while controlling the formation. These 3 demonic concealment crossbows might be the key to breaking it. The formation's weakness in long-range combat has been exposed. Shenji continued his relentless pursuit, a ruler in his right hand and a cosmic pouch in his left. Every immortal ascension being had experienced countless battles, both large and small, mastering the art of leveraging their strengths while avoiding their weaknesses, and possessing the ability to precisely exploit their enemies' vulnerabilities. Whoosh! 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 3 more crossbow bolts flew past Shenji's head. As the distance closed, the bolts gained power, and Wenrentinghai and his group could aim with greater precision. This left Li Wei with even less time to react and evade. 5th Phoenix, perched on Li Wei's shoulder, activated the Purple Heaven Thunder Seal, blasting away the most threatening bolt. The 2nd bolt grazed Li Wei's neck, shattering several blood glyphs on his blood-floating pagoda demon armor into a cloud of blood mist. The 3rd bolt struck the flagpole of one of the 8 formation's banners, sending it spinning wildly. Li Wei quickly grabbed the flying flagpole, stabilizing the formation glyphs and formation plate. Qingshang, observing from afar, sighed. In a siege battle, close combat relies on battle formations, while ranged attacks depend on bows and crossbows. Fortunately, Jiyu Junxiang is severely wounded, and Shan Sheng hasn't arrived yet. If a cultivator of sufficient strength were to engage Li Wei in close combat, his situation would be many times more precarious. Shenji excels in esoteric techniques but lacks martial mystic prowess, putting him at a disadvantage and unable to effectively restrain Li Wei. Meng Kui added, "You overlooked Tai Sui Earth Monarch. It's fortunate Li Wei acted decisively in the western suburbs and eliminated him beforehand." Strange. Was Shan Sheng lured towards Zhuoqiu Hongting's position? Ahead. 6 Fourth Realm experts from the Chong clan faction activated the formations on their blood-floating pagoda demon armor. Whoosh! Black demonic mist erupted from the 6 suits of armor, coalescing into a 6-tiered pagoda-shaped formation tower that loomed over the bone plains. The immortal ascension beings who could wield the blood-floating pagoda demon armor were naturally the Chong clan faction's strongest warriors. These 6 were second only to Shenji and Qi Jianru in combat prowess. Zhao Tang and Yan Zhiro were actually more powerful, but Chong Yujian knew them too well. He had deliberately withheld the armor from them, giving them a chance to concede and avoid a difficult choice. The floating pagoda formation tower was the Demon Kingdom's final gambit against Li Wei. It signaled that neither side would hold back any longer. The 6th-tier pagoda ahead radiated even more formidable chi than the 7th-tier pagoda Li Wei had encountered outside Night Demon City's immortal forest. Li Wei charged forward relentlessly. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Xuanhuan and 9 sword-wielding immortal ascension beings rapidly converging on the 6th-tier pagoda's battle formation from the right. To his left and rear were Chong Yujian, the Cloud Spider, and the Abyssal Spider. Though seemingly vulnerable and easy to break through, this flank was actually the most dangerous. If Li Wei veered left, he risked plunging straight into the spider's web-like spiritual artifact. His eyes scanned in all directions, his ears attuned to every sound. Without changing course, Li Wei continued his relentless charge toward the 6th-tier pagoda, now 50 zhang away. Boom! Within the great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation, the azure nether lightning surged forth first. The azure lightning bolts, as thick as water buckets and crisscrossed with countless branching arcs, struck the 6th-tier pagoda, forcing it to recoil violently. The 6 figures within the formation, channeling their power through the battle formation, wielded a 10-zhang-long ancient sword adorned with myriad inscriptions artifacts. Its blade, as broad as a shield and as tall as a monument, was planted firmly in the ground, blocking the azure nether lightning. This was the pioneering sword, Mr. Shu's personal war weapon. Battle formation united, primordial power unleashed. The 6 figures within the pagoda channeled 6 streams of spiritual chi into the pioneering sword, awakening its primordial origin power. Tens of thousands of scripture characters erupted from the blade like a swarm of bees. The colossal sword lifted from the ground and swung down at Li Wei, who was charging straight toward them. Li Wei responded by mobilizing his liquid chi, activating the primordial awakening of the golden cloud thunder seal. The seal transformed into a palace-sized construct and soared into the air to intercept the pioneering sword's descending strike. Boom! The 2 myriad inscriptions artifacts collided, unleashing shockwaves of energy and scripture characters that blasted outward. The 10 members of Xuanhuan's group, caught in the blast radius, were forced to halt their advance and brace themselves against the shockwave. Li Wei successfully crossed the 30-meter gap separating him from the 6th-tier pagoda. Sizzle! Golden crow flame erupted from the great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation, surging forth like a fiery waterfall or a crimson gold river of flames. In an instant, the entire plain was ablaze. Li Wei had retrieved the golden crow flame sealed within the formation flags from the Tanggu Sea, just as Tang Wanzhou had done before him. He approached the Fusong divine tree as closely as possible to collect the most potent flames currently accessible. Unlike the 5 fiends heavenly wind and azure nether lightning, Li Wei had no fear of depleting the golden crow flame. If he ran out, he could simply gather more. The weakness of Li Wei's great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation lay in its 4,800 formation glyphs. The formation glyphs of the opposing pagoda battle formation, crafted by Ku Yao's team, were similarly lacking in refinement. In terms of formation mastery, Ku Yao ranked among the top 3 of the 9th-generation immortal ascendants, while Li Wei was undoubtedly within the top 5. There was no significant disparity between their skills. Damn it! The flames are refining the formation glyphs. Could Li Wei have unleashed flames cultivated through transcendental methods? Is that even allowed? I sense they're even more domineering than the azure nether lightning. The formation glyphs of the 6th-tier pagoda rapidly dissolved under the refining heat of the golden crow flame. Boom! 8 formation flags and 4 pages of the earthly tome, carrying the momentum of the great wind, fire, thunder, and lightning formation, collided with the formation glyph-laden high towers. Cracks spider webbed across the black demon tower, exploding with a shattering crack. The 6 great masters within were hurled out. Did he just break through the final barrier? Cultivators from various life realms watching through the starry sky mirror were incredulous. The flames erupting from Li Wei's formation were ferociously potent, nearly obliterating the 6th-tier pagoda's formation glyphs in an instant. Members of the enforcement group murmured among themselves, "We detected no transcendent spiritual chi fluctuations, nor was it spiritual light flame. It's more like condensed essence chi from the sky sun. If it were transcendent power, there would undoubtedly be transcendent nirvana scriptures involved to control it. Since it's a natural force that Li Wei can manipulate through his formation, it counts as formation power. Formation masters inherently gather the energies of heaven and earth to craft their formations." Boom! Boom! Li Wei manipulated the purple heaven thunder seal and golden cloud thunder seal, smashing them into 2 4th immortal realm ascension beings who had been hurled into the air. The impact sent them plummeting straight to the ground, creating 2 deep craters. The azure nether lightning and golden crow flame within the formation have been exhausted, greatly diminishing its power. Continuing to flee with the formation would only hinder my speed. Whoosh! The 8 formation flags and 4 pages of the earthly tome surged back into Li Wei's spirit realm between his eyebrows like a receding tide. Thunder and lightning crackled around Li Wei as he prepared to unleash the heavenly tribulation body movement technique. With no enemies ahead, he only needed to create distance to gain freedom. He would then head straight for the Zhongsheng Academy's formation. He could already sense Meng Kui's heaven and earth freedom realm guiding him toward his destination. Suddenly, Li Weiyi's pupils constricted sharply as he tilted his head upward. A dense swarm of heavenly soldiers and generals descended from the sky like a meteor shower, enveloping him completely. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 6, The Struggle for Immortal Realm. Chapter 63, 738, The Horde of Corpses and the Swarm of Insects. 63rd of Volume 7. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. From their vantage point, Meng Kui and Qingshang could clearly observe the entire battlefield below. Shenji had unleashed his cosmic pouch, which hovered in the clouds. From within the pouch, countless paper figures, meticulously cut and folded, materialized into life-sized, armored puppets. The puppets burned with ethereal flames, anchoring themselves like fiery stakes in the void and on the ground, blocking every escape route for Li Weiyi. Puppet soldiers brought to life. Such formidable puppet technique, Meng Kui remarked, this must be Shenji's most powerful technique, draining at least 30% of his spiritual qi. Even with Li Weiyi's extraordinary combat prowess, he'll be trapped for several breaths. Li Weiyi glanced down, realizing he had been ensnared within Shenji's 8 trigrams formation, leaving him no path to escape through earth escape. Whoosh! Li Weiyi transformed into a bolt of thunder and lightning, tearing through the air. Then, something bizarre occurred. As the qi surged, the puppets across the sky seemed to be drawn by invisible threads, converging rapidly toward Li Weiyi. The faster he moved, the faster they converged. No wonder Shenji was so confident in this move, claiming it would guarantee my defeat, Li Weiyi mused. This is indeed no ordinary technique. Li Weiyi unleashed concentric rings of thunder sword strike radiance, continuously shattering the charging puppets into fragments. His heavenly tribulation movement body technique was completely disrupted, forcing him to halt. Li Weiyi, you can't escape. Return Tai Sui Earth Monarch and Qiyuan's lives. Prince Tulu and the ghost marsh pung bird, both in humanoid forms, activated their blood-floating pagoda demon armor, covering their entire bodies. One sprouted bat-like wings from his back, while the other grew feathered wings. Both were renowned for their speed. Earlier, while Li Weiyi was embroiled in the chaotic battle, these two first-sequence powerhouses of the demon race had flanked him, circling around to his front. Now, they converged from the left and right, cutting off his escape. Prince Tulu unleashed his 5th-layer imperial technique Palm Strike, the 100 Tribulation Palm Thunder. Thunder technique's concussive force and sonic power erupted from his palm, creating a deafening roar that reverberated for hundreds of miles, its terrifying power shaking the very earth. Even Li Weiyi, who had mastered the aspect of thunder and lightning, had yet to comprehend thunder's concussive force and sonic attacks. Approaching from the right, the ghost marsh pung bird unleashed his 5th-layer imperial technique Claw Strike, his combat prowess surpassing even Prince Tulu's. Over 900,000 immortal scripture characters erupted from his body, converging entirely into his claw. A claw reached out, as if a hand from the azure heaven itself had materialized in the void, pressing down on Li Weiyi. Having just broken free from the encirclement, Li Weiyi wielded the purple heaven thunder seal in one hand and the golden cloud thunder seal in the other. The two seals transformed into house-sized constructs, coalescing into thunderclouds and lightning mist that crashed against the two incoming imperial techniques. Boom! Li Weiyi, facing two opponents alone, parried the strongest imperial techniques of Prince Tulu and the ghost marsh pung bird. He retreated rapidly, channeling his energy to dissipate the impact. The immortal rankings number 1 seems injured, and quite seriously. The ghost marsh pung bird and Prince Tulu roared in unison, pressing forward with renewed ferocity. Whoosh! 5th Phoenix erupted from behind Li Weiyi, its membranous wings slashing at Prince Tulu's neck with lightning speed. Its claws, gripping the yellow dragon sword, struck down on the ghost marsh pung bird's head. The two of them had never anticipated the 5th Phoenix's speed, which surpassed even Li Weiyi's. Caught completely off guard, they let out muffled screams and were sent flying. Though protected by the blood-floating pagoda demon armor, Prince Tulu's neck remained intact, but his throat throbbed with pain, as if ruptured, rendering him speechless. The ghost marsh pung bird fared worse. The yellow dragon sword split its skull, blood gushing from the wound. Though not critically injured, its appearance was utterly wretched. Li Weiyi steadied himself, his internal spiritual qi still in disarray. He immediately began circulating his energy to restore balance, his gaze sweeping the surroundings. He was now completely surrounded. To his left stretched a dense spiderweb connecting the earth to the sky, poised to collapse and capture him alive. Cloud spiders and abyssal spiders clung to the web. To his right stood Qi Jianru's 10-man sword formation, their sword qi coalescing into a towering wall of blades. Shenji had already flanked him, joining Prince Tulu and the ghost marsh pung bird to activate their 3 blood-floating pagoda demon armors, forming a combined attack formation. Behind him, a dark, oppressive demonic cloud surged forward like an overturning ink sea. Within the cloud loomed 8 figures radiating overwhelming qi, now within striking distance. They were Wenren Tinghai and Chong Yujian, 2 first-sequence powerhouses of the demon race, along with the 4 fourth-realm immortal beings from the 6th-tier pagoda. The remaining 2, struck by the Purple Heaven Thunder Seal and Golden Cloud Thunder Seal, were severely wounded and healing in the distance. The demonic qi emanating from Wenren Tinghai's group intertwined with that of Shen Ji's trio, forming a formation plate nearly a mile in diameter. Surrender now. This is your last chance. Chong Yujian urged earnestly. Wenren Tinghai chuckled. Ku Yao, Yu Zan, and Cao Lin are already close and could arrive at any moment. There's no escape to heaven or earth, brother Yi. 700 miles away, Ku Yao wielded an ancient spiritual staff, its metal surface patterned with alternating purple and crimson bands. Activating the Heavenly Path rune, she enveloped dozens of Immortal Realm experts in its protective aura, guiding them across a rune-etched path suspended in the void. They raced toward the battlefield at breakneck speed. Zuoqiu Hongting, Peachwood staff in hand, activated the 8 divisions profound robe and pursued them relentlessly, flanked by Zuoqiu Qingting and 6th Phoenix. They repeatedly unleashed the earthly tome, shattering the rune-etched path in their wake. Zuoqiu Hongting, pursue us further and you'll find your death, Ku Yao warned, his voice icy. Stay and test your mettle, Zuoqiu Hongting retorted. I challenge you to a fair fight. She wears the myriad inscriptions treasure robe, and her staff is also a supreme treasure, Ku Yao mused aloud. Rumor has it she conceals an ancient lamp, a broken supreme artifact, within the spirit realm between her eyebrows. If she surrenders, all these treasures must be relinquished. Who will claim them? Instantly, 10 immortal ascension beings detached from the rune-etched path and charged toward Zuoqiu Hongting, who was closing in from behind. After another 200 miles, Ku Yao's group converged with the Crown Prince faction led by Yu Zan and Cao Lin. Their forces swelled dramatically, gathering a formidable array of experts. With over 100 immortal ascension beings and non-human allies combined, they could now form a battle formation capable of challenging even transcendence. Let's hope the Jade Tome of the life-preserving spring hasn't fallen into the Chong clan's hands yet. Otherwise, this will become extremely troublesome. Yu Zan drove his war chariot, shattering the void as he sped forward. Cao Lin, with her bow and arrows slung across her back, executed her body technique, moving like a wisp of nethercloud night mist. If Li Yi can hold out until we arrive, he will undoubtedly be the foremost figure of our era, the brightest starlight southern Yingzhou has seen in 1,000 years. Even if we ultimately defeat him, I will still admire him to the point of prostrating myself before him. What's that scent? Ku Yao detected a peculiar fragrance drifting on the wind from the direction of the nether realm of the dead. Ahead, dust billowed from the ground, punctuated by the roars of the undead. The sky was darkened by swarms of insects as dense as storm clouds. Why is there such a massive army of fierce insects in this area? Didn't the Demon Kingdom's forces already scour the underground regions within thousands of miles? An immortal ascension being from the Demon Kingdom exclaimed in alarm. Cao Lin's double pupils narrowed. The nether realm of the dead has grown bold indeed, amassing an army of the dead to ambush us. Are they trying to interfere in the immortal ascension competition? Why didn't the enforcement group intercept them beforehand? Yu Zan leapt from the chariot, landing gracefully on its roof. His double pupils glowed with Ming light as he peered into the distance. On the summit of a mountain 100 miles away, he spotted a figure clad in white robes. He chuckled. Have any of you heard of corpse sowing rice? If not, it doesn't matter, she's here now. Ku Yao spotted the white-robed figure behind the swarm of insects and the horde of corpses. The Rice Palace's true disciple. So that's it. It seems she brought this army of fierce insects from tens of thousands of miles away. With no time to waste, the immortal ascension beings of the Demon Kingdom faction charged forward without slowing their pace. Yu Zan called out from afar, True disciple, are you planning to interfere in the life-preserving spring conflict between the Demon Kingdom and the Lingxiao Palace? If I recall correctly, third-party forces are forbidden from intervening in disputes over resources. Only territorial disputes allow for third-party assistance, and even then, such conflicts must occur within contested regions. Zhang Ning responded from a distance. This true disciple was merely searching for corpses and fierce insects in the nether realm of the dead, intending to bring them back to the 14 prefectures and 100 cities. It's quite the coincidence that we've encountered you here. I never ordered the insect and corpse swarms to attack you, you struck first. True disciple, don't forget that the deaths of Emperor Ji's disciples, Sheng Wulian and Si Wuyan, were both connected to Li Yi. Do you intend to make an enemy of the Rice Palace's martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor? Ku Yao knew Zhang Ning was exploiting loopholes in the rules and didn't bother arguing. Instead, she reminded her of the long-standing feud between Li Yi and the Rice Palace. Zhang Ning stood silently atop the mountain peak, gripping the hilt of her sword in one hand and the scabbard in the other. With a swift motion, she drew the Jingyu sword. Clang! The blade flashed through the air. Sword chi surged across the mountain range, echoing her strike. Charge forward and eliminate the Rice Palace's true disciple early, Yuzan commanded calmly. Normally, immortal ascension beings from two life realms with territorial disputes would avoid direct conflict in the contested areas. According to the rules, any territorial jade scrolls seized outside these disputed zones would be invalid. This was why the Holy Hall's immortal ascension beings had to venture into the Wolf Sovereign Wilderness. By entering the contested region, the Holy Dynasty's immortal ascension beings could openly assist them, claiming they were not participating in the life-preserving spring or life spring competition, but merely seizing territorial jade scrolls. Tonight's battle was governed by these rules. Apart from the immortal ascension beings aligned with the Holy Hall, Rainforest Living Realm, and Lingxiao Palace, any active intervention on Li Weiyi's behalf would be considered a violation. Passive support, however, was permissible. Like Zhang Ning's current actions. Or the forces from Zhongsheng Academy waiting at the edge of the Nether Realm of the Dead. He won't be able to break through, will he? Qingshang murmured, watching Li Weiyi, who was completely surrounded. The formation was as impenetrable as if he were besieged by 1,000 troops. Meng Kui replied, our presence here already demonstrates our sincerity. We can't afford to risk any further losses. The demonic chi and formation glyphs of the 11 blood-floating pagoda demon armors intertwined and circulated in unison. With the combined power of these 11 warriors and their coordinated formation, they could rival even a great immortal being of the 7th realm. Wenren Tinghai said, Brother Weiyi, you may not know this, but even Master Shan, with all his power, could only withstand 20 rounds against the combined attack of the demon race's 4 greatest masters. Moreover, those 4 demon race experts didn't even unleash the full power of the blood-floating pagoda demon armor's combined attack formation. How do you expect to fight against 11 of the strongest warriors wearing blood-floating pagoda demon armor, working together? There's only one jade tome of the life-preserving spring. Should I hand it over to you, or to Chang Yujian? Just when everyone expected Li Weiyi to incite infighting within the demon kingdom, he calmly retrieved the evil camel bell. Chang Yujian shook his head slightly. At this point, any further schemes are pointless. Let's just fight. Clang. Clang. Li Weiyi channeled all his spiritual chi into his arm, focusing it into the bell. Immediately, concentric rings of sonic waves and black nether mist erupted from the camel bell, merging with the demonic chi surging from the 11 blood-floating pagoda demon armors. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6. The Struggle for Immortal Realm. Chapter 64, 739, The Power of the Evil Camel Bell. 64th of Volume 7. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. The camel bell's sound was neither crisp nor resonant. Instead, it was a deep, oppressive tone, with a texture like yellow sand, muffled, yet shifting between distant and near. When distant, it could be faintly heard hundreds of miles away. When near, it reverberated within the mind and heart, shaking the soul spirit, inducing drowsiness, nausea, or violent rage. Black nether mist spread across the marshlands bordering the life realm and the nether realm of the dead, sending ripples across the dark red waters. White bones along the shore cracked and shattered under the vibrations. 200 miles away, an immortal ascension being from the Zhongsheng Academy solemnly asked, do you feel a throbbing headache and agitation from this bell's sound? The surrounding group nodded in unison. For cultivators of their caliber to experience such discomfort, Spring Surge Realm martial mystic cultivators and ordinary people would likely suffer splitting headaches, collapsing from the pain. Meng Kui circulated his spiritual chi, dispelling the discomfort. Even at this distance, were mildly affected. What must it be like at the epicenter of the battlefield? What spiritual artifact is Li Weiyi wielding? Qingshang watched from afar, astonished to see the demon kingdom's powerful factions, who had been poised to attack, retreating rapidly as the bell tolled, as if fleeing malevolent fiends. Chaos erupted among their ranks, defying belief. She swiftly recalled the various scrolls she had studied, searching for an answer. Under the overwhelming pressure, the terrified retreat of the martial mystic cultivators demonstrated the immense threat posed by Li Weiyi's spiritual artifact. When Li Weiyi killed Tai Sui Earth Monarch, a similar bell sound was heard. It was later confirmed that Mo Duanfeng had helped him borrow a willpower-based spiritual artifact from a cultivator of the Holy Dynasty, Pu Yanshou said, standing a short distance behind Meng Kui and Qingshang with the scroll case on his back. No. Qingshang's expression shifted as she realized something, shaking her head vehemently. Even if Li Weiyi wielded a myriad inscriptions artifact or a supreme artifact-level willpower-based spiritual artifact, his cultivation realm wouldn't allow him to fight multiple opponents simultaneously. I've wielded willpower-based spiritual artifacts myself. When focusing on a single target, the power concentrates, maximizing its effectiveness. When attacking multiple targets, the power disperses. Against dozens or even hundreds of opponents, the power becomes even more diluted. There's only one explanation. The bell in his hand is specifically designed to counter martial mystic cultivators wearing the blood-piercing floating pagoda demon armor. It must be the evil camel bell. It can only be the evil camel bell. The evil camel bell. Is it famous? Why have I never heard of it? An immortal ascension being from Zhongsheng Academy meticulously searched their memories but found no record of such an artifact. Qingshang said, this artifact is extremely renowned. A powerful cultivator once used its camel bell-like sound to plunge an entire life realm into chaos, causing a bloodbath with countless casualties. It can absorb malevolent thoughts from the world, but it also amplifies the malevolent thoughts within people's hearts, even turning against its master. The last wielder of the evil camel bell was Xuanhuan, the demon kingdom's imperial uncle who forged the blood-floating pagoda demon armor. The evil camel bell's dull, resonant waves spread outward in concentric circles. The blood glyphs etched onto the skin of the 11 martial mystic cultivators wearing the blood-floating pagoda demon armor began to flash violently. Their heads throbbed with excruciating pain, their hearts felt like they were about to explode, and a torrent of evil thoughts erupted within them. Their eyes became bloodshot, burning with a ravenous hunger. As Qingshang had warned, a psychic power attack artifact targeting dozens of experts simultaneously would inevitably have its power diluted. The 11 martial mystic cultivators in the blood-floating pagoda demon armor retreated in panic, scrambling to distance themselves from Li Wei as quickly as possible, as if fleeing from ghosts or deities. Their earlier arrogance and confidence had vanished completely. Conversely, the martial mystic cultivators not wearing the blood-floating pagoda demon armor were less affected. Realizing this, Shenji shouted, quickly retract the blood glyphs of the blood-floating pagoda demon armor. There's something very wrong with the bell in his hand. PFF'd. With a flick of his wrist, Li Wei hurled the evil camel bell, striking Shenji squarely in the chest over 60 meters away. Blood erupted in a crimson spray. Though Shenji managed to block with his mountain measuring ruler and activate his protective talisman, his ribs shattered, internal organs ruptured, and body was sent flying. He crashed to the ground, unable to rise again. In the next instant, Li Wei pursued, unleashing a palm strike toward Prince Tulu's chest from over 100 meters away. Prince Tulu had already deactivated the blood-red runes of his blood-floating pagoda demon armor. His steps faltered, his mind reeled, and as the overwhelming killing intent surged toward him, he desperately raised his palms to meet the attack. In his weakened state, he stood no chance. PFF'd. Prince Tulu spat a mouthful of blood as his body was hurled sideways, a searing pain tearing through his chest. He couldn't see Li Wei's figure, only hear the wind whistling as the next strike approached. Prince Tulu frantically activated his life-saving protective talisman, but it was too late. Li Wei's finger, sharp as a sword, pierced his throat, shattering his neck bones and severing his head, which spun through the air. The corpse and bat-like head lay separated, blood splattering across the scene. Another first-sequence demon race powerhouse had fallen. Li Wei's eyes flashed like lightning as he turned to face the final obstacle, the ghost marsh pung bird, the last remaining expert blocking his path. Fifth Phoenix's voice came from behind. The spiderwebs are falling. The two spiders are charging. Gui Zipeng, witnessing Li Wei's terrifying might, Prince Tulu slain in 2 moves, and his own mind in turmoil, his courage shattered, dared not face him alone. Spreading his twin wings, he immediately fled, clearing the path to avoid pursuit. Clang! Clang! Retracting the evil camel bell, Li Wei transformed into a bolt of thunder and lightning, darting through the descending spiderwebs. Behind him, the cloud spider and abyssal spider pursued relentlessly, flanking him on the left and right. They seemed least affected by the surrounding chaos. Clang! Ahead, from the direction of the nether realm of the dead, a radiant Buddhist light erupted, accompanied by the resonant chime of a temple bell. The bell's tone, like a spring in the desert, soothed the malevolent thoughts and negative emotions plaguing the immortal ascension beings of the demon kingdom. Tao heart manifestations rose around them, rapidly stabilizing their formation. A 9-meter-tall golden bell slowly ascended from the horizon, blocking Li Wei's path 30 kilometers ahead. The evil camel bell has appeared. But activating a supreme artifact consumes vast amounts of spiritual qi. Layman Li, how much strength do you have left? Shan Shenge, clad in a gray-white Buddhist robe, stood at the center of the golden bell, his hands clasped in prayer. Golden light shimmered around his feet as he strode toward Li Wei, each step covering 30 zhong. With each step, the temple bell resonated. The dozens of li of marshland between them instantly filled with radiant light, and the ethereal Buddhist sound of 10,000 Buddhas chanting sutras echoed through the void. So the Bodhi heart seal isn't just a force that attacks the inner mind, it can also soothe the heart, purify the mind, and stabilize the soul. Li Wei's eyes burned like torches. He had no time to deal with the cloud spider and abyssal spider pursuing him from behind. Gripping his sword in one hand and the bell in the other, he charged forward, each step covering 30 zhong. If he could break through Shan Shenge's barrier, he would truly escape with his life tonight. But even at his peak, defeating Shan Shenge would be no easy feat. Now, with his spiritual chi severely depleted, grievous injuries, and the demon kingdom's elite forces closing in from behind, the task seemed as impossible as ascending to heaven. To make matters worse, the Bodhi golden light erupted from the spirit realm between Shan Shenjie's eyebrows, sending concentric rings of formation patterns and formation glyphs surging forward. Instantly, the marshland between them transformed into a vast formation domain. Within this domain, countless Buddhist statues materialized, each in a different posture. It was a mid-grade spiritual formation, the Thousand Buddhas formation. The formation consisted of 5,400 formation glyphs. In terms of formation grade alone, it surpassed even Li Wei's Great Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Lightning formation. Shan Shenge was a dual cultivator of martial mystic Tao and psychic power, both at the peak of the fourth realm. His cultivated, Bodhi golden light, the sacred radiance of the Buddhist kingdom, was renowned throughout Yingzhou. He protected himself with the heart-sealed golden bell, capable of resisting the malevolent chimes of the evil camel bell. This humble monk has no desire for empty words. Shan Shenge declared. I will say only this, even if I were to defeat you today and seize the jade tome of the life-preserving spring, it would bring me no joy, given your current state. The Bodhi golden light between Shan Shenjie's eyebrows erupted with blinding intensity, like a blazing sun piercing through the darkness of heaven and earth, revealing his full, unweakened state. Within the Thousand Buddhas formation, all the Buddha statues stirred to life, unleashing demon-subduing seals, soul-slaying strikes, and 1,000 hands reaching to tear off heads. All converging on Li Wei. Master Shan, do you believe I am weakened? Li Wei roared, his voice brimming with heroic fervor. You are mistaken. The Li Wei standing before you now is the strongest Li Wei there has ever been. Nether mist surged from the evil camel bell in his hand, coalescing into towering, semi-corporeal camels. The camels were formed from the condensed malevolent thoughts collected by the evil camel bell, coalescing into a formidable camel train. Li Wei, his long hair flowing freely, leapt onto the back of the lead camel. His battle intent surged like a tidal wave, his spine ramrod straight, and the thunderous hoofbeats shook the ground as he charged into the Thousand Buddhas formation. Boom! Boom! Golden, radiant Buddha statues were sent flying by the camel train, shattering into showers of golden light. Wherever the camel train trampled, the ground instantly turned to sand, yellow dust billowing into the air, leaving behind a desolate, deathly silence. On the surface of the starry sky mirror, the black nether mist and the camel train within it acted like a pair of scissors, slicing through the golden expanse of the Thousand Buddhas formation and charging straight toward Shan Shenge ahead. They left the demon kingdom's elite immortal ascension being experts far behind. The various life realms, where the starry sky mirror floated, were already in an uproar. News of the evil camel bell spread like wildfire. Xiaoyao capital's North Lake remained sleepless that night, its brilliant lights rivaling the New Year's Eve celebrations of half a month ago. He actually broke through. Is the evil camel bell really that powerful? Supreme artifacts require transcendence to awaken their primordial power and unleash even a fraction of their true power. The power of a spiritual artifact ultimately depends on the martial mystic cultivator's cultivation level. No wonder Yu Yaozi dared to wager the life-preserving spring on him. Li Wei is truly extraordinary. In a battle with no chance of survival, he has carved out a path to escape by sheer force. Whether he can break through depends on whether he can overcome Shan Shenge. Look behind Li Wei, the immortal ascension beings of the demon kingdom have recovered and are converging on him like a tidal wave. You're all overlooking one crucial point. Since Li Wei brought a supreme artifact to the immortal ascension competition, he likely never considered surrender an option. Defeating him and seizing all his spiritual artifacts would be the most devastating blow of this heaven's chosen's life. Upon receiving this intelligence, Yu Daoshan, the Grand Clan Elder of the Demon Kingdom's Imperial Clan Court, immediately rose and headed to the Crown Prince's prefecture. Demon Queen Cao Ziyu had arrived ahead of him, seated behind a gauzy curtain. In the lamplight, only her exquisite silhouette was visible. Crown Prince Yu Daojun sat by the spiritual pool, feeding the fish. Poof! Yu Daoshan materialized as if from thin air beneath an ancient osmanthus tree in the courtyard. His aged form appeared abruptly, cutting straight to the point. Retrieve the evil camel bell and give it to me. I'll persuade all the loyal demon lords within the royal clan to support your claim to the throne. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6. The Struggle for Immortal Realm. Chapter 65, 740, The Great Compassion Mantra Seal. 65th of Volume 7. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Yu Daoshan, second only to Demon Monarch Yu Baxian in seniority and age within the Demon Kingdom's imperial clan, wielded immense influence. Throughout the factional strife at court, he had maintained neutrality, remaining steadfastly loyal to the Demon Monarch, like the vast majority of the royal clan elders. Yu Daojun had repeatedly attempted to curry favor with his cousin, seeking his support, but all efforts had ended in failure. Yu Daojun's handsome features were meticulously sculpted, his brows and nose bridge sharply defined. His eyes, usually calm as still water, now rippled with faint amusement as he smiled. Brother, such words border on blasphemy. Yu Daoshan's imposing figure loomed, his voice deep and somber. In the past, such thoughts would never have crossed my mind. But in recent years, the demon monarch has grown increasingly foolish. Supporting the Chong clan and the nine-headed dragon, fostering factional strife and internal conflict, that might be tolerable. But to persist in his folly even as the army of the dead presses upon our borders, disregarding the demon kingdom's 20,000-year legacy, that is unforgivable. How could that old scoundrel Qing Si steal the nether spirit ancient tree, slaughter countless souls in the imperial clan court and across dozens of provinces, and still escape unscathed? The demon kingdom's internal discord, with factional strife escalating to life and death struggles, has left it vulnerable to exploitation, resulting in a colossal farce and devastating losses. If the demon monarch continues his reckless course, the demon kingdom will inevitably collapse. As your elder brother, I am already old and my cultivation has waned. I cannot secure the throne and pose no threat to you. You, however, are the vigorous and promising crown prince, the future hope of the demon kingdom. By absorbing the demon monarch's cultivation, you can achieve a breakthrough. If your ancestral field has truly been damaged, you can seize his and replace it. To save the kingdom, first slay the demon monarch, then eliminate the demon consort. I have spoken plainly enough. If you lack the courage to act, pretend I never came here. If you report me to the demon monarch, I will accept the consequences. Yu Daoshan turned to leave. Elder brother, wait. Yu Daojun abruptly rose, scattering all the fish food into the spiritual pool. The ripples distorted the moon's reflection on the water's surface. Daojun has awaited these words for a century. Yellow sand billowed across the sky, the rhythmic clanging of camel bells echoing through the air. The semi-corporeal camels in the caravan were gradually annihilated in the fierce collisions with the Thousand Buddha's golden body. Before long, only the final rider remained. The Thousand Buddha's formation had completely shattered, its domain in ruins. Li Wei sat astride the last camel, his hand gripping the sword hilt tightly. He channeled every remaining trace of spiritual qi and spiritual light within him, his mental state reaching its peak, focused solely on his opponent. His gaze locked onto Xuanhuan ahead. Victory or defeat would be decided in this final clash. Sensing Li Wei's razor-sharp aura, Xuanhuan dared not underestimate him. He strode forward with meteor-like speed, his brow glowing brilliantly as his ancestral field trembled. His Buddhist robes billowed, and spiritual qi coalesced into a sea of clouds beneath his feet. Ami Tuo Fo. The Buddha's name resounded. Xuanhuan had cultivated the Amitabha Sutra. Millions of Buddhist scriptures erupted from his ancestral field like a surging river, their energy overwhelming. He formed a mudra with his right hand. Great Compassion Seal. Spiritual qi and scriptures swirled wildly around him, and behind him, a faint, mountain-sized silhouette of Amitabha rose into the air. Li Wei formed a finger seal with his left hand. Great Compassion Mantra. He pressed the seal against his chest, and the Bodhi golden light radiating from his brow surged down his left arm, converging in his palm. Fight! Li Wei roared, leaping forward from the camel's back. The Tai Chi mark materialized within his divine gate, and 12 towering divine shadows materialized, each positioned at one of the 12 cardinal points around the mark. As he soared through the air, he manifested the 12 dispersed hands of the Chan sect in the void. The 12 divine shadows and 12 manifested figures formed a long, cascading sequence of images, ultimately coalescing into the Tai Yi Si opening sword held high above his head. The 12 figures merged into one, their combined sword aura radiating with overwhelming force. The light and shadow of the sea surged around the blade as he slashed down at Xuanhuan. Great Compassion Mantra Seal. Xuanhuan stood firm on the ground, merging the power of his martial mystic Tao and psychic power. His entire body glowed like molten gold. The sea of spiritual qi beneath his feet surged upward in a massive pillar, centered on his body, and shot into the heavens. Boom! The finger seal from his left hand struck first, sending the descending yellow dragon sword flying. The force of the sword's impact drove Xuanhuan's legs deep into the ground. Sword qi crackled against his body, producing metallic clangs. The earth trembled, sending dust and debris soaring a mile in every direction, obscuring vision. In the next instant, Xuanhuan raised his right palm in a heavenward strike, while Li Wei formed the most powerful Shi Yi seal with his left hand. Boom! The two palms collided in midair, each strike embodying the Buddhist sect's ultimate psychic martial mystic fusion technique. Blood erupted from Li Wei's mouth and nose as he was sent hurtling backward toward the sky. Xuanhuan's golden bell shattered, its golden light dissipating as half his body sank into the earth, threatening to bury him alive. Xuanhuan chanted a Buddhist mantra, let out a long roar, and burst free from the earth. Sensing imminent danger, he saw Li Wei charging toward him, wielding the evil camel bell, purple heaven thunder seal, and golden cloud thunder seal in a coordinated attack. Shan Sheng once again formed a palm strike, spreading his arms wide to meet the attack. In the blink of an eye, they had clashed for the third time. PFF'd. This time, both combatants spat blood simultaneously, flying backward from the force of the impact. Mid-air, Li Wei channeled light spiritual power and dark spiritual power into his feet, forcibly twisting his body to land on the back of the camel that had emerged from the swirling dust. Gripping the camel's humps, he leaned forward and urged the beast toward the Zhongsheng Academy group at full speed, leaving a trail of dust in his wake. His spiritual qi and spiritual light were nearly exhausted. Even the blood-floating pagoda demon armor couldn't withstand the onslaught. The crimson runes on its surface retreated into the soft armor beneath. Li Wei was gravely wounded. External injuries from crossbow bolts and the mountain measuring ruler had fractured bones. Internal injuries were even more severe, his organs burning as if engulfed in flames. He lay sprawled across the camel's back, so weak he felt he might fall off at any moment. Though the Zhongsheng Academy pursuers were closing in, his eyelids grew heavier with each passing moment. I can't fall yet. I can't fall yet. Li Wei took a deep breath, swallowed a healing spiritual pill, and gripped a spiritual crystal. He also absorbed the spiritual light from the Holy Spirit King's psychic power star bead bracelet on his other wrist, rapidly replenishing his strength. Gradually, he straightened up, his gaze fixed forward, his fighting spirit rekindled. Man and beast charged into the endless darkness of the nether realm of the dead. Fifth Phoenix, having retrieved the yellow dragon sword, evil camel bell, purple heaven thunder seal, and golden cloud thunder seal, caught up and landed on the camel's hump behind Li Wei, vigilantly watching for pursuers. Shan Sheng's defensive barrier shattered under the combined attack of the three artifacts, sending him flying backward over a mile before he managed to regain his footing, his face deathly pale. Ancestral Field, struck by thunder and lightning, felt his internal spiritual qi surge uncontrollably, wreaking havoc within his body. Immobilized and struggling to control his chaotic qi, he could only watch helplessly as Li Wei vanished over the horizon. With a sigh of resignation, he closed his eyes and softly chanted a Buddhist mantra. Even with such an overwhelming advantage, they had failed to stop Li Wei. He accepted his defeat wholeheartedly. Outside the Calamity Crossing Temple's mountain gate, beneath the Star Heaven realm, the temple disciples erupted into a frenzy of excited chatter. He broke through. Amazing. Brother Wei truly is the peerless champion of the younger generation. Monk Shan of the Western Buddhist kingdom couldn't even hold him for 3 breaths. Shi clenched his fists, his round, chubby face flushed with excitement as he roared in triumph. Yaoyan, who had been holding her breath for what felt like an eternity, finally exhaled softly, her eyes sparkling with an otherworldly radiance. Several Heaven's chosen daughters from the Calamity Crossing Temple, close to Yaoyan, tugged at her sleeves, eagerly asking about Li Wei and celebrating her victory. Yet she heard none of their words. Her mind had suddenly gone blank, as if she had already detached herself from her surroundings. Nearby, Lu Kangsheng sighed inwardly. The Lingxiao martial mystic cultivator he had once considered his equal had now etched his name into legend this night, destined for soaring renown that would leave them far behind. The gap between them had become despairingly vast. Xiaoyao Capital, North Lake. Utter trash. With so many of you, you couldn't even hold Li Wei, and instead, several of your strongest were killed. At least 10 have been eliminated. Chong Shu, seething with rage, slammed the carriage curtain shut, refusing to watch the starry sky mirror any longer. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, his emotions in turmoil. Damn it. Why do I feel a sliver of perverse satisfaction? Chong Shu's emotions were indeed complex. To hedge his bets, he had placed another wager at the Fate Gambling House, betting that Li Wei would survive until dawn. If the Chong clan lost, he would win money. If the Chong clan won, he would obtain the Jade Tome of the Life-Preserving Spring. Slap. Chong Shu struck his left hand hard with his right, suspecting his wager might be influencing his feelings. He then yanked open the carriage curtain again, peering at the starry sky mirror, torn between hope and fear. Dawn was still far off, and the outcome remained uncertain. A breach had been torn in the formation Great Wall along the Demon Kingdom's border. Refugees from the Holy Hall's life realm streamed through in endless waves, like black ant trails fleeing into the Demon Kingdom's territory. Since the start of the Immortal Ascension competition, reinforcements from various life realms had been pouring into the Great Formation Wall in the Holy Hall's life realm, preparing for a final, desperate battle against the army of the dead massing there. Yu Baxian's deliberate delays and obstruction had allowed the army of the dead to gain overwhelming momentum. The complete annihilation of the Holy Hall's life realm might now be only a matter of hours. A starry sky mirror hovered above the ancestral mountain of the Void Ruins ancient clan. Yu Yaozi stood atop the mountain peak, her expression impassive, yet inwardly she breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that Li Wei had weathered the most dangerous moment. Before this, she had given him only a 50-50 chance of either breaking through the encirclement or being forced to concede defeat. If he survives tonight, she murmured, his advantage will only grow stronger with each passing day. The old ancestor of the Bai clan emerged from the council hall, a faint smile playing on his lips. For someone of the Grand Palace Master's cultivation and temperament, you seem to place undue importance on the Immortal Ascension competition. I had assumed the life-preserving spring contest was merely a tactic to force the demon monarch to retreat. Li Wei is just a pawn you casually placed on the chessboard. Now it seems you're taking this junior's training exercise far too seriously. The more you value it, the more you'll fall into mediocrity. Yu Yaozi, ethereal as an immortal maiden descending from the clouds, felt a stirring in her heart. Her voice rang with unwavering conviction as she replied, Li Wei is no ordinary junior. In just a few years, he has already reached such a profound realm. Within a 60-year cycle, he will undoubtedly break through to the Nirvana realm. Perhaps in a few centuries, the Lingxiao Palace will have another heavenly emperor. A heavenly emperor level in just a few centuries. The old ancestor of the Bai clan narrowed his eyes. Yu Yaozi countered, who can say for certain? Seeing Yu Yaozi's earnestness, the old ancestor took her words to heart. His thoughts gradually crystallized into a firm resolve. The Lingxiao Palace already had Zhenhai Guanwu and Yu Yaozi. They needed no further competition from a rising star like Li Wei. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.